We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. Uh, Woo! Yesterday, everybody was speaking on Willie D and Cat Williams. Just like I did with Shannon Sharp's interview, I had to take my time and listen to it. Um, I didn't get a 3 hour interview, I got 1 hour. And I'm glad this was cut at 1 hour. I love Willie D. Willie D is one of my favorite, funniest rappers ever. Love Willie D. He's an icon and legend in hip hop, period. But interviews is probably not his thing. This is probably not his cup of tea. Um, he shouldn't do interviews. Mm-mm. He could do what he want, but I just don't think interviews is it. I think he's good at like giving his thoughts on something, but to actually conduct an interview, it takes a tack, a certain tack, and it has to have flow. He made goddamn Shannon Sharp look like Walter Cronkite. He made him look like Frost. I'm like, my goodness, this was bad. This was bad. Not bad meaning bad, good, but bad meaning bad. Like someone said in here, um, if he did this interview before Shannon Sharp and decided to put it out after New Year's, is that what you telling me? So is this why they both landed on the same questions? Because that's the only way this interview would kind of make sense. Let me go over the facts of what I'm talking about here, people. Um, Here is the reason why it was less entertaining is because the host Willie D didn't know how to conduct this interview. He was so excited to have Cat Williams there and do the interview with Cat Williams. It was almost like talking to somebody you're a fan of, and you have a certain agenda you want this to go. Willie D is the type that he roots for the underdog, and if somebody's being blackballed or he feel it's never the black man's fault. That's with Willie. And me being a fan of Willie, I get it. He gonna see the black perspective of it, and if he feels somebody's getting blackballed and some Uncle Tom is the guy holding him up, then that's gonna be a whole big thing. And he'll have that direction. And the line of questioning it just went a wrong way. Not only did he ask the same questions or the same type of questions, he didn't know how to ask them with tact to where there's a flow, like an ebb and flow. He would make statements but wouldn't make a question. Cat Williams had to basically, answer his statement or ask the question himself because he didn't give a question. He'd be, man, I like the way you just broke that down right there, because you like real sharp and concise with the way you do your thing because you're smart. Where's the question? There's no question there. So he would have to come in and and answer a question. So they said the video was recorded back in September before Club Shay Shay. That's fine. If it was recorded there, a lot of that would make sense as to why the same questions were asked. But if that's the case and you've had this since September, why did you hold it? If you had it in September, why wouldn't you put it out in October or November or December? Why now? Why were you holding this interview? No, the question is, why were you holding it? If you did the interview that long ago, September, why are you just now putting it out? What made you hold on to it this long? Now, when Shannon comes out, I wouldn't even want to interview Cat Williams right now. I would want to wait at least 2, 3, 4 weeks. Let everything develop first. Let the cake bake. Then you do another interview. You don't do another interview right after this. After that Shannon Sharp interview came out and cooked, they wanted to jump on the fire. They started right off saying, oh, we finna break the internet. We got a Cat Williams interview that's finna break the internet for us. Now it looks thirsty. And then the interview ain't good. You sitting there with a guy that you're promoting. They say he held it because it had bad language. He edited it, then said it was bad for Willie D. They held it because it had bad language. That's what you got editors for. That's what you got a team for. You don't have to wait 4, 5 months to go to editing. You ain't doing Star Wars. You doing a damn interview. Right. You said him and Scarface. That's different. Willie and somebody else on there seem to be, he needs somebody on the show with him. Him one-on-one with somebody, that wasn't working. Now, let's take the same questions out of the equation, right? Since it was done prior, you can't hold that against him, all right? Now, if I know I've done that interview and I've asked him these questions and Shannon Sharp just asked him all these questions, I think I need to hold off on this interview for a minute. Now, since I've already held it and for way too long, I should have already put it out. I mean, I got an interview that's going back probably about 15 years that no one's heard. The reason why is because the guy died on like Monday. We interviewed him on Friday and he was dead Monday. So we just never ended up putting it out. I tried to contact his son to see if they just wanted to see it first or hear it first. And they didn't even respond back. So I'm gonna put it on the Patreon and let everybody just hear it for the first time. No one's really heard it. A guy that worked for me, MMA Rick, my homeboy, conducted the interview. I set it up, let him go ahead and do it. And the guy died on, we did it on Friday. He died like on a Monday. He said, stop the false narratives. I mean, it was quite obvious.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yo, I appreciate it.
The Honorable Katt Williams.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Questions in all of interview. Spend time interviewing others is magnificent, and nobody asks worse questions. You have the worst questions in all of interviewing.
I swear that scene was on everything, bro. Listen.
Spend time interviewing others is magnificent, and nobody asks worse questions. You have the worst questions in all of interviewing, and you can count on it. Nobody's going to mimic your questions. So yeah, it's an honor. Thank you.
Now, yeah, I know. So it's not just me, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not just me. What made it sound bad, right, is the fact that here's what Katt is trying to get to the point of the interview, right? I'm not looking for a, Eugene Sawyer type of interview or Diane Sawyer and all that. I'm not doing no Barbara Walters, her type of interviewing style, but right, ill prepared. You knew he was coming on the show, and it seemed like you were more just happy to have Katt there than to have the questions really lined up. And you wanted to have more of a conversation than an interview. Now, when you having those conversation like interviews, the thing is you have to have your questions that you want to ask in, and I've done this plenty of times. I've had conversations with people and I'll let them see it, hear it on YouTube. And I'm like, we're not really interviewing, we're just talking. So that's different. From interviewing you, I have to cut it off. I have to get to the next question. I have to get the questions that the people want to get to. So we're going to go from there. I know how to come in, segue it, and join in, and then lead them to the exit of that statement. I know when a person doesn't want to go down a road in the conversation because it's sensitive. And you're asking people questions like he said, you're like DJ Vlad. That is not a compliment when you get compared to DJ Vlad in the interview. That is not a compliment. I mean, that's why I'm like, when he was like, man, the people around the world want to know what's going on with you and Ali Sadiq. And I'm like, the people around the world. That's the first thing that hit me. I'm like, who is that? Ali Sadiq. I'm thinking of Raphael Sadiq. And I'm thinking, whoa, this must be some entertainer. I had to Google him. So it couldn't have been the world want to know. I had to Google this guy. I'm like, the world want to know. Man, Katt, the world want to know. I wouldn't say the world wants to know. I don't think the world even know who he is. And he's right. I had to Google him, and when I saw him, I said, "Oh, this is the guy." My mom, I was in Florida. My mom was like, we was watching comedy and specials and looking up some, and my mom said, "Oh, that's the guy. This guy at my job had told me was funny. We need to check him out." I'm like, "All right." We sat there, watched him, and he was not funny. I mean, seriously, just completely. We did not laugh. I'm just like, I didn't think we need to finish this. It was not. It was not entertaining. It was. I mean, maybe he just had a bad special or bad stand up that day. But that's how I remember him from that bad performance. He was telling long, drawn out stories that just at the punch wasn't funny. It's like, look, tell some jokes in the way of this long story you're going down that's entertaining. Now, as I'm starting to go down here, I'm realizing something. This guy is from Houston. So Willie D knows him because he's from there. So now it makes more sense while he is asking the questions about Ali Sadiq. Like, come on, man. You know Ali is a celebrity. He up there. Up where? Now I don't want to hate on the guy, but if you trying to put him up there with Katt Williams, and now Katt sees the play, and this is why he really doesn't want to talk about him. And he said, "Man, I know you said you don't want to talk about it, but I feel we got to talk about it." If the guy if the person you come in the interview says, "I don't want to talk about this guy. I don't want to talk about it," meaning I'm not here to build this guy up. I'm not here to build up your guy. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to conduct an interview, and we've had this discussion of not mentioning this guy. And during this interview, now you want to bring the guy's name up, Ali Sadiq. Now everybody's talking about this Ali Sadiq like he's a somebody because Katt Williams had done 30 million just a week prior. Now you put this out and it's promoting this guy. Is this guy your nephew? Do you live on your block? Is he is he your godson? What's going on? You just gonna force this Ali Sadiq down his throat. And the whole incident is real stupid anyway. The dude got money, said he ripped up a check. I'm like, okay, you didn't lose nothing. What is the whole argument about? No, it's just bland because there's a subtext in a style. This was led by Willie D. The other one was led by Katt Williams. The Shannon Sharp interview seems like it was written, conducted, and directed and starring Katt Williams. This looked like Willie D Productions. Yeah, it was. People said they unsubscribed. I didn't unsubscribe. Okay, you got two people talking to each other. I love Willie D. This interview was just bad. That's just all to it. It's a bad interview. It was subpar. Let's put it that way. Very subpar. And if he was looking at that, he should be like, it's not my best work. It wasn't. The style of the interview, the questions he's bringing up. If you don't know something, you don't ask it. Like a lot of times when you do interviews, you ask questions that you already know the answer to, but the public want to hear them say it. That's the point of you asking the question. You know the answer already. You're not asking for you. You're asking for the people. The people want to hear this person answer it. So that's why you're asking the question. You know the answer already. Katt is always going to drop a gem here and there, but it's right. It was more like a conversation than an interview. To Willie's abilities, he's just not good interviewing. Some people just not good at the interview process. I think he's good at giving his own personal thoughts. Willie D, that is his lane. He's really good at expressing his views. But interviewing is not his forte whatsoever. He needs to have another person in the room that knows how to conduct an interview. Scarface asks way more engaging questions. If Brad Jordan was sitting right there, that interview would have been different. It's not dissing Willie. It's just saying that you made the Shannon Sharp interview, you made Shannon Sharp look 10 times better. You really did. That just give him a little face. The only thing that the interview being conducted way before Shannon Sharp's interview only proves one thing. Okay, the same questions came out. That covers that base. Now, what it don't cover is how poorly it was conducted. And the timing of the release. If I'd done this in September, I'm not putting this interview out a week after Shannon Sharp. I'm not. Because now if you did this in September, this is not answering all of the new questions that's been presented by all these other entertainers. So if they see Katt Williams' interview pop up and he's not answering any of the things that have been addressed, and it sounds like he's just repeating himself, but not really addressing any of the things that's coming back, it looks kind of crazy. And they're going to look at you like, why you didn't ask the questions? You heard all them people, they rebuttals to that, and you ain't even bring that up. So for the people who didn't know that it was recorded back in September, it looked like it just came the week after Shannon Sharp. It makes you look even worse because it looks like you're avoiding asking him the responses that the people have been saying going against Katt Williams this week, and you're looking like you're avoiding the smoke. Even though that's not the case, it was done prior. It looks like you're avoiding the smoke. Whenever you have to explain your interview the next day after your interview dropped, you messed up. It's messed up. Right. So if you held on to this from September, why did it come out some it needed editing? What kind of editing? Did you get Steven Spielberg, Lucas Arts in here? What the hell kind of editing that take 5 months. Why did you hold on to it for so long if that was the case? But here's the thing. It looked like clout chasing now. Because if you held it since September and you release it now, and now it looks like you're clout chasing. So it don't look genuine. So if something don't look genuine, it look like you're clout chasing, trying to get fame, trying to get attention off something. It looks pathetic. It don't look genuine. Like he said, I would have no problem doing this celebrity boxing thing with Ali Sadiq if I felt he was a celebrity. He was like, if I call and got him on the phone, man, you think you guys could talk this thing out? He was just like, he's trying, like, my God, you won't let this thing go. I've answered the question. I don't know this man. Like, I don't want to talk about him. You came to interview me. If you want to interview me based on one question about this one comedian that can't sell more than 300 tickets, no sold out show, nothing. I'm sold out 7,000 tickets in his hometown and he can only sell 300. Why you keep putting us as if we equals? I paid him a check saying, here's your check. You do not have to perform. Here's your check. He claiming he didn't get his money or whatever. Here's your money. You paid. This dude been paid for his services in full. He didn't get shorted. He didn't get anything. Talking about I ripped the check up. Fool, who does that? Thank you, Mr. Who's that? Mr. Ward? Yes, thank you. Thank you for being a real Laker fan. He owed Ali a favor. For what? That's what I'm saying. I know you from Houston and that's your boy, but come on, man. For real? Is that what we doing? Since when has that become the case? When did we start doing that? That's what I want to know. Oh, yeah. You could definitely donate to the Cash App. Because we got Cash App questions. As soon as I find the doggone what I did with the damn phone, so I can pull up the Cash App. No, it's the fact that Willie D was so unprepared. When you asked this man about Suge Knight, and you sat there and was like, man, you had your thing, you and Suge Knight, y'all got arrested, right? Right? Did you get arrested? If you don't know, what the hell are you asking for? Are you asking him, or are you saying, let's talk about the night you got arrested? If that's what you take, the interviewer should know the answer already to the questions he's asking. You're asking a question that you don't even know is a question. You're asking Katt Williams, or you're telling him he got arrested with Suge Knight as a question. You and Suge Knight, y'all got arrested, right? What happened with that? First, you asked him the question, then you stated it like it was a question. Then the icing on the cake is when he asked this man about, do you think everything, like, what's wrong with Hollywood right now in the industry? This man just came off being blackballed. You want him to go right back down the razor blade to start exposing the industry. You want him to go all the way off and start tearing down the entire Hollywood plane. He was like, no, sir, I don't think anything's wrong with Hollywood. Like, he's trying to give you the like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Where in the world is my phone? I didn't travel anywhere. Okay, it should be right here. Oh, right there it is. Now, yes, the super chat working. You can super chat, donate to the page. We appreciate that as well. But let's give shouts out to my Cash App people who had some questions. What's up, Brandon? Kamala James. Kamala Jones. All right. And it's about Katt Williams. Yes, the questions got to be short. You ain't gonna have a lot of space. Kevin Hart or Katt Williams Christmas special, which one would you rather watch? Well, I would have posed that question to all y'all in the chat. If you had a concert tour going down on Christmas, Katt Williams going on the same day as Kevin Hart, which one would you want to go see? We'll let the people decide. But thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your Cash App question. I get dumb questions on Cash App sometimes. What is beans and cornbread? Beans or cornbread? Like, you fixing me a plate? Like, what kind of question is that? Okay, most of these people are not leaving questions. They just saying what's up. Yeah, Carcino is the name on the Cash App. You'll see me wearing a green shirt and say Carcino for life in there when you get in there. Kwame Brown in the house. KB. Oh, yeah. Oh, what's up? This is a good one. It says, do I think Gilbert Arenas I don't know if Gilbert Arenas is sleeping with any of his people that work on his show, but it wouldn't put it past him. Funny. What's up, Denise? What you got for me? That's not a good one we could put on here. Well, thank you, Jennifer Black, from Expressions. I appreciate you. LeBron James, should he be what he said? There beef between Unc and Prime? I don't think so. I don't think Prime Time got a beef with him whatsoever. Molly's absence from the show don't mean anything. She's probably on vacation, though. Let me see what else they got for me. Why Shannon Sharp didn't fight? Why Shannon Sharp didn't fight for Kyrie Irving? That's something you would have to ask Shannon Sharp. I don't know why he didn't fight for Kyrie Irving. So yes, if you have some Cash App questions, definitely mention them in here and we can get to you. What's up, Larry May? Houston in the house. Oh, Houston, Texas. Comes right in the door. Willie D put it down for these guys, and he's just helping the young boy out. He's helping out a young man who lost time in jail. Okay, he lost time in jail, so that means because everybody go to jail, right? When they come back, it's everybody else's responsibility, right? So thank everybody who hit up the Cash App. Thank you. Yeah, I guess it is. Willie, it was Katt Williams week again. Jesus Christ. It's Katt Williams week because Willie D wanted to continue on. He said, I'm late to the party. Hey, Sino. Willie D lied to the people with that old video and pretended that it was after Unc video trying to fool the people. Well, I think they would have tried to play that angle until it went bad. And now they trying to say, well, that was an old one, folks. Now they doing damage control. No, Katt Williams ran his play. He got his bag now. So now he's talking back. He reverted back to what he's doing before. You have to remember, Katt Williams already apologized to all of these people before. He doesn't want to go back no more. When I woke up this morning or this afternoon, I saw Ticket TV interview Jason Whitlock. And I give Ticket TV credit, give props out to Ticket. Ticket did his thing. Like he stayed on that dude back. He probably would never get on there with me because I would have been all over him. But Whitlock ended up doing the same thing I did in exposing him. He's not going to respond back to me, but he'll respond back to Whitlock because Whitlock is somebody who's in the industry. Stephen A knows better than respond back to me because he knows that's going into a realm of I can't win. He knows that. It's like, do not give that guy your audience. Because once he mentions my name, he's done. And he knows it. It's checkmate. No, Willie D sat there and started asking him about, do you think what's going on over there with about the industry Do you think that there's a thing in Hollywood where they make you do things that they shouldn't make you do? And he's just not in a comfortable space with Willie D asking these questions. And he tries to take the conversation and keep going. You know, like, I'll take the question and answer it in a way that makes sense. But when you keep coming with, like, it was just like, dude.
Ever have any enemies in comedy? It's ludicrous. But if you pick the actual king, then make sure that you're
The audience knowing just
tell them
having
who
an
Ali
idea of what
Sadiq
we're
is
talking
first.
about. ID Sadiq.
Right.
For not doing anything.
Well, let's start at the beginning of the line thing.
Now, Willie D is assuming that everybody knows who Ali Sadiq is when we don't. Katt Williams has to escort him on his own interview. Listen,
I don't know if I want to.
I'm going to start.
I don't know if I want to talk about him.
And then you can do what you want to do.
Fair enough.
Start it and you do what you want to do. Fair enough. Now, while he's lighting up the cigarette, listen to how Willie goes into it.
I think for the sake of the audience knowing just
tell them
having
who
an
Ali
idea of what
Sadiq
we're
is.
talking.
There you go. He tries to go through this for the sake of the interview. I think that he's trying to tell him right there, like, okay, let me stop this. Tell them who Ali Sadiq is. Because you haven't told the audience. You assume that everybody in the audience knows who Ali Sadiq is. We don't. He's local. Katt Williams had to tell him, tell him who Ali Sadiq is. He's trying to help him through the interview, like, tell him who Ali Sadiq is. Like, you have to tell the people who this guy is. You're having this conversation and going on because Katt know what you're talking about because he's a comedian. He's heard of the guy, but the general public don't really know of him. And he's like, I don't know if I even want to go down this, but tell them who he is. like, can you please just tell them who the guy is first? You're talking as if the world knows. This is what I mean. And I love Willie D. Don't everybody think like I hate, don't think I hate Willie D. I do not hate Willie D. He's better at giving his personal thoughts than conducting an interview. That's just it. Interview format is not his style. Now he just heard what he said. Now listen to this.
Talking about ID Sadiq is a comedian from Houston that's based in Houston.
A very fine comedian.
Very fine comedian.
Yeah.
He's helping you explain and break down. You're supposed to be asking the questions and breaking it down. Katt Williams is basically using the Force and using the Jedi mind trick and got you doing your job, and you just like the mannequin up there just going along with it. Tell them who Ali Sadiq is. Ali Sadiq is a comedian out of Houston, a fine comedian. A fine comedian out of Houston. I'm like, oh my God. People was really trying to slam Shannon, saying he didn't do a good job. Oh God, I told you, compared to this, Shannon Sharp should get the Pulitzer. They should give him a Golden Mike Award just alone. Just alone. All this? Oh my goodness. Willie isn't slow. Just because somebody talks slow don't mean they slow. Willie is smart. The thing about it is his interview format style isn't, it's not like a journalist. He doesn't know how it does, it's just no tact to it. You want tact, you get a tactician. I'm talking to Katt. Now we gonna get all over the place. All these questions are just everywhere. I remember that time that woman in Atlanta, you talked about her, the name Wanda, right? Or something. And it would have been a lot bigger, I think, had he released it earlier. Well, probably not. I think now it's gotten the bulk of what it would have gotten. I think it would have got more now. Like it's getting a lot of views now. It's getting the millions. So they got success off of this. They got their little, cheeseburger off of it. They got their little plate. They got a little steak. They got something they could toast. They got a couple few million views off of it, but nothing like what Shannon Sharp was able to do. And they just made it look generic. Now, the next real live interview with Katt Williams, that's going to break the bank. That's the one that's going to break it, the next one. Now, if he goes back on Shannon Sharp, that would only make sense. Would I try to interview Katt Williams? No. Because there's new ground to cover, but it all depends. We'll have to have a conversation first, and we'll be going down a whole different road. I want to know about the world of comedy right now and how you have to navigate through the new regime of you can't, everybody's trying to me too you. Everybody's trying to take away your jokes. Everyone's trying to play victim now. How is the history of comedy, or what's the next level of comedy is going to look like in the future? Why comedians don't come together and have a union? Things of these natures. I would want to have these type of questioning. Why comedians that are Black and African American don't have their own distribution? They should be able to have their own venue that they own, that they could put on a tour. Can nobody say they can't do it? They don't have to go dance on someone else's circuit. They could say, why don't we have Blacks do that for us? All the Black comedians that have made it and been successful, they seem to run away from the people that got them. We're going to talk about real questions like that. Those are the type of questions I want to have. I don't want to ask nothing that the other person has asked unless I'm ready to expand on what they've asked. Like, let's say they asked a question and I felt that they didn't do it correctly. I would ask that question and say, well, I remember you asked this question and answered it before, but I would like you to expand on it. Now, seeing Katt on Drink Champs, that's another place where they don't ask the questions correctly and they blame it on the alcohol. Anything go wrong, you blame it on the alcohol. But I just feel that they're not prepared for anything when it comes to questioning. They don't prep. They don't learn about the questions that they're asking. Learn and get the information about the questions that you're asking, then ask the question. He's a comedian. Ask him something about his profession. Ask him about what he does. Not about This guy said this. That guy said that. This guy said this. That guy said that. This guy did this. You did that. Did you do this? Did you do that? I don't think that's a great interview when you do that format. You feel me? I feel it's been too much of that right now. Everyone going back and forth with who said what, who's on first. He said, "What I gathered from Katt's interview is that there's a go along, get along gang in every industry." Well, yes. Well, everything. We all know that. It's all called entertainment. I don't care if you were doing a magic show. There's a hierarchy in that. There's a hierarchy in everything. It's called caste. CASTE. You should look that up. And it's not just relative to black and white, it's universal based on class, stature. People are obsessed for the wrong reasons. People love drama. We do is focus on drama 24 hours a day, so people don't know how to get substance. Like I could cover two people having an incident, but I'm gonna give you substance. I'm gonna give you steak and potatoes while they giving you chicken nuggets and candy. you know, yeah, that's like taste good, but it ain't gonna be good for you. You ain't gonna get full off that. I give people substance. There's a difference. That's why we have one crack news. We just did the whole breakdown on what's going on with Trump and the situation with him and Young Thug fighting the DA. And now the DA is caught in the situation now. So we just went and covered that. We talk about world news. We just don't sit around and talk about one thing all the time. That's why if you come to my Patreon, you just don't get gossip and drama. You get information. Thank you for the super chat. And thanks to everybody that hit up the Cash App. Yeah, Carcino's the name on that Cash App. Oh, another Cash App question. Let's see. When are you going to cover? Oh, okay. He's talking about Patrick Mahomes. The messages are real short here. You can't write long messages, but I appreciate it. I did talk about that, but I can kind of figure where you're going, even with the slight words that you type. What he's talking about is Eric Bieniemy. See, Eric Bieniemy and And when Eric Bieniemy came into play, Eric Bieniemy came around and was making all these plays for Patrick Mahomes, and the offense looked real pretty under him. Then you have what's transpiring with Matt Nagy now, and you starting to see what? What are you starting to see? Right? Terrible offense, terrible play calling. It is what it is, right? And you seeing Patrick Mahomes look as basic as ever. My top 3 comedians of all time, that's hard, man. Uh Man, for stand up, that is really hard. I mean, Richard Pryor never gave me a bad stand up ever. I mean, ever. Most of the people, the best comedians, like their material is on record, like on record, on actual record. That's when their best material is. Yeah. So I'm only answering Cash App questions right now or Super Chat because some people don't have Cash App. So if you Super Chat, I'll answer it. Cash App. Kobe was more skilled than Michael. Yes, I think Kobe was more, I would say, more versatile. Michael was more, I would say they had the same package, but Kobe was way more reckless. It was willing to try things Michael wouldn't try. Kobe would do fadeaway 3-pointers with his left hand, and take really bad shots in situations just to make some magic happen. But when the rubber meets the road, they elevate their games. So that's what that means. Chris Rock is definitely one of the best I've seen do it. Rock has had some great stand-ups. Kevin Hart has had great stand-ups. Cat Williams have had great stand-ups. Great. I mean, the Pimp Chronicles is probably one of the most flawless performances there was. I mean, Delirious with Eddie Murphy, Raw. Those were, I mean, Raw to me wasn't as funny as Delirious. Delirious set the bar. Uh, there were a lot of comedians that just were funny, would drop dead funny. Dennis Leary had a great stand up. He stole a guy's whole act, though. He made his own act, but basically took the guy's whole act about smoking. And the guy who ended up was doing that, man, he was great. It's been a lot of great stand-ups. George Carlin is king. Carlin is up there too. The intelligent comedian. When it was okay to be intelligent and tell jokes at the same time. There's so many greats in the game. Yeah, Bill Hicks. Dennis Leary stole almost his whole material with just hanging around Bill Hicks. That was the cigarette comedian. And then you get the rock star comedians like Dice. Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay had some great stand-ups. But then, guys got lazy and they stopped writing jokes. They blow up to a point where they don't need to write jokes anymore. Then, they just ride their shtick, if people want them to see it, like his nursery rhymes. Then he came up with some new nursery rhymes. And then that became everybody wants to hear the calling card. Dave Chappelle is kind of hit or miss. That's the thing with Dave. That's what makes his comedy fresh. Dane Cook is good to watch live. They could go for 3 hours in a row. Just gone. Just pure, unwritten, off the dome comedy. Those guys can do it. Chappelle, Dane Cook. Red Fox is another one that is good with records. Like people, they didn't have their performances were recorded on record, so you didn't really see their performances, but the records was crazy. Red Fox records was just was wild as hell, boy. I hate midgets. I hate them. Always breathing on your crotch. Like it was just nuts. 100%. Charlie Murphy is good at sketch comedy than he was stand up. But we got a whole thing on the Patreon about Charlie Murphy stories that y'all don't even know about. We got Charlie Murphy when he first got hired, when he got back from the military and started working with Eddie as a bodyguard. Charlie Murphy bodyguard stories, man. I've been telling them all. And people was listening to him on the Patreon and forgot all about him. Do I have any more information on the Patreon level about the French Canadians that's tied to everything that moves? I've never heard anyone ever speak on it. Well, that's the reason why you never heard anyone ever speak on it, because they do. And when you stop to think of it and you start looking at people that runs and own things, you go, damn, he's a French Canadian. Damn, he's a French Canadian. Damn, that guy's a French Canadian. What the hell's going on in here? And you start realizing, oh, Jesus Christ, there's a connection here. But yeah, we'll get back into that on the Patreon. Lavelle Crawford is another one. Him and Earthquake gave some great performances. Bernie Mac is just pure comedy. Bernie Mac could say 5 words and that's it, and you'll be dying on laughing on the floor. That was the type of Robin Harris was good. When Bernie first came out, they was hating on Bernie, saying Bernie's trying to do Robin Harris act. Then Robin Harris died, and Bernie was coming up. They was like, "Oh man, he trying to be like Bernie Mac. He trying to be like Robin Harris." Patrice O'Neal was different. He was the comedian. His style was, "I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable. Tell me what makes you uncomfortable, and I'm gonna make you even more uncomfortable." You're gonna laugh. Paul Mooney's stand-up is all built around race. But it's funny. Paul Mooney comedy wasn't always around race. He used to do the light feathered jokes. And that was always still hilarious. He was more for sketch comedy. He wrote a lot of material for Rich. Him and Richard Pryor would bounce these jokes around, and man, it would be a Lionel-rama. Martin Lawrence in the 90s was great. Martin wasn't great at stand-up. He was great at emceeing. Crowd control was what he was really good at. Martin could control a crowd. That's what he was good at. Inez J, no. Martin wasn't strong with his stand-up. Like his jokes, he was good with his characters and he was good with storytelling because he would interact. He was more physical comedy. That's what made Martin get over. Jamie Foxx, believe it or not, was not a great comedian. Wasn't good at all. His jokes were so bland and it just wasn't getting over. And whenever he felt like he's losing the audience, he would grab the piano and start to play and start singing. And then he would get the crowd back. Then he was sleeping with the old lady too. So he was getting his stage time. He had to do what he had to do. Jamie had to do what he had to do, man. Yeah, he had to hit that old white lady. I think that was Pauly Shore mama, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah. It's your conscience. During that roast. Yeah. It's a roast about him. Maybe I should save my jokes for him. I'm not Jamie Foxx. I'm your conscience. Maybe I should just pass it along and sit down. God, did Jamie kill him? But Jamie was already established at that time. Deion Cole is funny. Like, I remember him in Chicago opening up for Katt. Deion Cole, man, he was hilarious. He's from the city, so he know how to put it down for the city. We went and saw, I think, D-Ray when he came home. And that was that. Only seen Lunel like maybe once or twice. See, LA comedians are a little different. It's like most of them staying around the LA circuit and they feel like we ain't got to go nowhere. We just stay in LA. This is where everybody want to come anyway. And they just feel like they gods. New York comics, to me, I was more with the New York comedy. New York comics, those were the ones that had the grit. Those were the ones, Midwest, more than LA comics. LA comics thought they the it. But New York comic coming to LA and take it over. Chris Rock, New York. Eddie Murphy, New York, East Coast. Kevin Hart, New York. They go to LA, take it over. Go to LA, take it over. Go to LA, take it over. Oh, George Wallace was great. Damon Wayans did do stand up. What do you mean? He got like 3 of the best stand ups performances I've seen. Damon Wayans is another one. Great stand up comedian. Kills almost every time he does a stand up. The Last Stand was funny, and they always show you that one. Damon, now that you've made this 37 million, not that we're counting, do you think there's racism in America? No, sir. And if it is, I ain't seen any. They show that clip all the time now. I played that in one of my videos, and everybody just started making shorts out of it. The Last Stand was supposed to be his end for stand-up comedy. And he was going into Hollywood doing movies full time. He came back because the movies was bombing. He did The Great White Hype. He was a boxer. He's like, can you box? Can you did this? He was like, man, I was just a hoe. I was doing anything. They was, can you do this? Can you do that role, man? And he was like, man, the Hollywood, man, it wasn't it. That's why I'm back doing stand-up. So now it was still standing. Blank Man wasn't funny. But people love Blank Man. Marlon, to me, is just, he's not there at the stand-up game. He's just not. He's okay. It's just that he don't have that control. He don't have that sense of control of the audience. The jokes is good. Some of the jokes is good and they land, but he just don't have that sense of control of the audience, the confidence on that mic, where you see he's owning it. You know, I don't see that. Now, Keenan Ivory Wayans. Keenan, when he first started off and he did a stand-up, Keenan was funny. But Damon was the guy. Damon Wayans is pure comedy. That's somebody they can't touch. Yeah, I got to put this on the chart. Let me go see who left me a Cash App question. Get back to my Cash App questions. Hold on. See what we cooking with over here. Willie D just dropped an interview with Mark Perry. Sin. Man, can Katt Williams make a good movie like Kevin Hart if he had the chance? Put Katt Williams. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Put Katt Williams. Like I said, Cash App kind of messed it all up. It does. It kind of messed it all up. Sorry about that, y'all. Oh, yeah. And Eddie Griffin. Phew. You kidding? Eddie Griffin is a comedian and is excellent in stand-up. He owns the mic. Tommy Davidson was good at sketch comedy and performances. Jokes, not too much. Imitations, voices, that was always his thing. So he was good for something like Saturday Night Live. And Living Color happened to come along for him. That was better for Tommy Davidson. Now, what they're telling me in the Cash App question, so you have to submit a Cash App or Super Chat to get your questions answered right now, was about putting Katt Williams in place of Kevin Hart in all of these movies, like Jumanji and Central Intelligence and Soul Plane. Would Katt Williams do a better job than Kevin Hart in those roles? Yes and no. The roles would have went a lot differently if Katt Williams was in there. Thank you for the Cash App too. Thank you for my Cash App. Love it. Appreciate it. No, it would have went it would have went a different way had it just been Katt Williams. The jokes would have had to be different. Lil Rel and Kevin Hart had a beef. It was a competitive beef. All while Kevin Hart was coming up. It was never Katt Williams. You see what I'm saying? This is why I'm trying to tell y'all, like, if anybody was to have a beef or anybody they wanted to talk about it, the competition was Lil Rel and Kevin Hart, because they were the two littlest dudes at the time. They were the two guys. Lil Rel just never got to the next level because he kept getting himself involved in stupid shit. You know, hanging out with rappers and want to fight with rappers and get into a beef. You know, all kind of goofiness. Then he started wanting to fight some other comedian who was a gangbanger and all kind of goofiness. Katt Williams out. I'm gonna talk about Stephen A. I'm gonna talk about Stephen A. Smith and him going at it with a Fat Boy. Don't worry about it. That's gonna happen. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. Okay, this is just way off base. They want to talk about the armed services. I don't know what that has to do with this. This is about Katt Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm sorry, not Lil Rel. I'm getting these people confused. Little Duval, ladies and gentlemen. Little Duval. So Lil Duval, that's what I'm talking about. Not Lil Rel. Lil Duval. Him and Katt Williams had the thing going back and forth. Not Lil Rel. Got my Lils mixed up. What's up, Tony? 2 time. Man, thank y'all for the cash app. Appreciate that. I'm gonna put the banner back up so y'all can see it in case y'all want to hit up the cash app. Drop a question. Mm, okay. Blessings from your big sister. That's what's up. All right. I thought you had a question, but that's cool. If you need a comedian to tell one joke, which comedian would it be? Okay, I guess the end of the world is happening, and I need a comedian to tell one joke. That was the question. If I needed it's the end of the world, and I guess the joke is going to save our life. Who would I have give that joke? So I'm guessing we're doing living comedians. There's got to be different parameters. Is it just for me? Do I need to like love the joke? Who gonna give me the joke to make me laugh or the world laugh? So if it's for me and I needed a joke told and somebody that's gonna make me laugh, no doubt, hands down, go to for a joke, it's gonna be Eddie Griffin. Hands down, gonna be Eddie. Eddie Griffin. Now, if I need to make a comedian that's gonna make the whole world laugh with the joke, like for everybody, I'm gonna say probably Dave Chappelle. Dave, I would go with Dave. Now, if it had to make me laugh and it was the last joke need to be told, Eddie Griffin. Hands down is Eddie Griffin. Now, for the whole world, Dave. We're gonna probably all blow up before Dave finished that joke, but Dave be halfway through the joke. So I'm standing by the door now. Boom! He'd be, God dang! God dang! God, please let me get to the punchline. But that explosion, that's good. Damn, I got no pen to write it down. Ah! That's what I'm saying. Y'all should be donating to the Cash App right now, dropping your questions. Let me see. Who else has got a question for your boy? I think they're going to put LeBron James in the NBA Finals this year. Okay. They saw the game last night and they heard the Toronto Raptors coach go off, and I'm glad he did so it could get spoken about on every sports network and let the people talk about what's actually been happening with them so they could see that this is a travesty that's been happening and it's ridiculous. Old TK Kirkland, man. TK Kirkland was like, you couldn't miss with TK. Like his older stuff, it was raunchy, but funny. I remember back in the day, TK, I'm saying, I used to call him Bruce Bruce because they was both on the same billing, and I just remember the dude that was funny, and I'm like, man, this dude was hilarious. Remember the dude we was there, and the guy was like, yeah, his name was Bruce Bruce. See, this wasn't no YouTube and stuff back then. There was no YouTube. So I was like, man, what was dude's name that we saw, the comedian, the man, he was funny, the one that said the joke. Dude was like, oh, you talking about Bruce Bruce. I'm like, all right, Bruce Bruce. Yeah, that dude's hilarious. But it was actually TK. Because then when I saw him and it was like, Bruce Bruce, we saw him the thing, and I see Bruce Bruce, no, he couldn't even move. The suit was all the way up to here. He was, yeah, man. I'm like, that ain't the damn guy I'm talking about. That's not the guy I'm talking about. And I'm like, man, he was all right, he was funny, but that ain't the guy I'm talking about. It was another guy on there. I thought he was Bruce Bruce. And then I think he was on another comedy thing. He came up there, he had the black hat on, he had a cigarette or something. I was like, that's him! T.K. Kirkland. That's the guy I'm talking about. Oh, man. That's what I was talking about. I was like, it was him. He told that joke I was talking about. He was like, women don't want to suck it, right? He was like, you don't be with your girl, she don't want to suck it, she be like this, and then you just put it on her face like this. Dog, I was dying laughing. Oh man, I was like, this dude, everything he said was funny. Funny. He was hilarious. It was T.K. Kirkland. He was killing everything back in the game. So I remember that. I remember that joke, and I cracked up laughing. Man, we was in the car laughing. I was, that dude was hilarious. And I thought, right. And then I see this dude in this suit. I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't the dude I'm talking about. Pauly Shore made it because of his mama. His mama owned the comedy store. Pauly wasn't even supposed to be in comedy like that. He was just always around. His mom was terrible. She was not a very good mother. She had her son around drugs, weed, everything since he was young. He was drinking beer, just grabbing stuff. She was hanging out with the host and the comedians. That's what her job. And so, Paulie started going into comedy, but he didn't do the comedy store. He started going out doing his own thing because he knew how that would go. Pretty much being with mom and all that, but he wanted to get out there. Mm. Get it now. Get it. Oh, Patreon is always cooking, buddy. We always cooking something up good in the kitchen. Mm. And there it is. And there it is. Learn about the low tier Illuminati. Hip hop internet Illuminati. People. There they go. There they go. Yeah, we went on them. We went on this low tier hip hop Illuminati thing. TK was still your draw. So yeah, if you're on the Patreon, definitely check it out. If you didn't see it already. Well, you already saw it if you're on the Patreon because you get the alerts. Oh, hold on. We got another Cash App coming in. Look at that. Cash App is flowing. Sam, my man, what you got? Anthony Davis should be in the WNBA. Oh, man. So, the WNBA, AD should be in the WNBA. I mean, that's not a question, but thank you for your Cash App donation. My Cash App is Carcino. $ Carcino. Who will be the next question? Please check your email. I sent you some. All right. I will check my email. Somebody sent me some. I want to say congrats, babe. You've been doing your thing. Oh, thank you, Priscilla. Thank you. I appreciate your Cash App. Absolutely. Appreciate you. All right, we got a super chat question. You have seen the skit. Shaq was standing. Yeah, we have. I'm probably the last to know that they close on. I'm probably the last to know. Yes, yes. That I don't watch the Real Housewives. I've seen the skit because it's been on the internet all the time with Shaq banging him from behind and all that. That's why he's in the Adam Sandler movies. Shaq is because he does these type of things. Shaq is okay. Been in LA for a long time, dog. They used to this. That's called white boy humor. Like they play the homo games with each other. We don't do that in our culture, but they do. Hey, I didn't do AD like that. I'm just reading the questions, Otis. Okay, let me go in here. Stop fronting. You wouldn't do a better job with Cat Williams. Okay, so now I wouldn't do a better job with Cat Williams. I feel my job would be different. Mm. Oh, okay. I was lost here. I know what it meant. My play-in analysis. They wanted to know my analysis of the play-in tournament altogether. Like, I guess, do I need to know? No, we don't need another play-in tournament. But thank you for asking that question. Arnie's was a strip club. I don't know. I haven't been to Arnie's in many years. You probably need a tetanus shot now if you go into Arnie's or a shot of penicillin right before you go in. But Arnie's is a place you could go in. It's a strip show, strip club, and then behind the curtains is a whole nother show. God bless Arnie's. No. We'll do 2 more Cash App questions or Super Chat questions, and then we're out. Shouts out Dennis Hickman, and God bless you. Thank you for that. We need more dark industry info. If you want more dark industry info, you're going to have to go to the Patreon. Unfortunately, YouTube they frown up on stuff like that. They don't like us to talk about these type of things. So, yeah, we're going to have to go to the Patreon for that. The Carcino for Life Patreon, definitely join. All right, we got time for one more Cash App question or Super Chat, whichever one come first. Willie could. I really don't think he's gonna get any better, but just prep. That's all I would say. Prepare for who's coming through that door. Okay, the last question: can I make a video on what heaven really is? Yeah, to a degree, but I probably would have to be on Patreon too, or One Crack News. So shouts out to Kwame Brown, Ticket TV. Welcome to HD TV, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez. Who else is doing anything? Armando Black TV. I ain't really seen Armando in a minute. I'm gonna have to check him out, see what's going on over there. And I'm out the door. Don't forget to follow me on the Patreon. Well, he's saying that they're saying that the video was made in September. So that's why he didn't ask the question that the people wanted to know. And a lot of them said the interview was bad because of that. But there was other reasons the interview was bad. But yeah, I'm going to be out the door, man. God bless all of you who showed up in the chat. Thank you for sticking around for this hour and a half. Deuces.